reveal secret de Donald Trump y Millionaire. Want to hide about their future. La teléfono botó por todas las noches. Las manos tendían a pararla. Estaba el corazón pesando pime tambor. La mensaje, frente, peligroso, un secreto que podría quebrar todo. No era solamente una excusitez en el mercado. Esta era más grande. Una sombra separando el mundo. La noticia se esparció como alba. Elon Musk ocultó un serpiente sospechoso de Donald Trump y círculo de billonarios indignas. La verdad habían escondido por un velo más caro que el acero. Tenían trabajado profundo la lentilla de la mano. Una tecnología de Elon en seria a terceras manos. The room was suffocating. Elon's chest tightened under the weight of the discovery. His mind raced back to the lab, the late nights, the endless lines of code that promised hope, now tangled with corruption and greed. Suddenly, every choice felt like walking on knife's edge. Was he building the future or unleashing chaos? Whispers crawled through the tech world. Trump's involvement? Impossible! This could end everything! Yet proof was crawling closer. By pixel, byte by byte, Elon knew it. The stakes were huge, far beyond business. His tech could expose a network so deep it clawed into government halls, media empires, the hidden power gripping the globe. But breaking that wall? Impossible without help. That's when she appeared, the hacker, a ghost in the wires, rumored but unseen, brilliant, elusive, deadly. She promised Elon the key to crack the unbreakable, a security system so dark, even he hadn't dared to breach it. At first, distrust stung like ice, but desperation clenched his jaw. The clock was ticking. Together, they plunged into a maze of betrayal. Code turned into clues. Secrets morphed into threats. Elon's mind frayed under the pressure, his hands shaking in a growing storm of fear and fury. Each step forward revealed a darker layer. Friends could be foes. Every message, every file could explode into disaster. A sudden noise snapped Elon back. Footsteps echoing in the empty hallway. Paranoia gnawed deep. Was someone watching? Someone ready to silence him forever? The tech that once made him a titan of progress now felt like chains dragging him down. Then his phone blinked again. A chilling message appeared. No name, no hint, but soaked in menace. You think you know the truth? You have no idea what's coming. Cold sweat broke out. Could he trust anyone in this deadly game? Elon clenched his fists, the weight of his dreams colliding with the nightmare, unfolding. The future was no longer just a vision. It was a battlefield. And somewhere, deep in the shadows, darker secrets waited to explode. What was real? Who was the enemy? And would Elon's fight save the world or destroy it? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Elon's breath hitched. The room felt smaller. That chilling message lingered in his mind, taunting him with its ominous promise. You have no idea what's coming. Everything he'd fought for seemed at risk. The future of his vision hung in the balance, and he wasn't sure who to trust anymore. Suddenly, a light flickered, plunging the room into darkness. Heart racing, he fumbled for his phone, illuminating the space with a weak glow. He could hear the distant hum of machinery outside, but inside, silence fell heavy. His throat tightened. The hacker had said they'd be safe, but fear clawed at him. Then, a sound. Quick footsteps, echoing off the walls, getting closer. Panic surged. ... Were they here for him? The door creaked open just a crack, and his breath stilled. A figure slipped in, cloaked in shadows, but it wasn't the hacker. It was Donald Trump. "What are you doing here?" Elon's voice cracked, surprise mingling with fear. Trump stepped closer, a steely glint in his eyes. "I came to warn you," he said, his voice low. "What you think you've discovered, it's bigger than you know." Elon stared, confusion washing over him. "You're involved? In this conspiracy?" Doubt invaded his mind. Could he trust anything Trump said? Trump insisted, his tone urgent. "I'm not your enemy here. You think it's just me and a few other millionaires? This goes deeper. There are forces at play you can't even imagine." Elon was reeling, struggling to process this shift. The weight of Trump's words pulled him down. "What do you mean? How do you know about the technology?" A flicker of defiance crossed Trump's face. "I built my empire where secrets flourish. I've seen the shadows. To understand, this tech you've created is a double-edged sword." Before Elon could respond, Trump stepped back, shifting the conversation. "But you're not the only one in danger. We both are." Elon felt a chill crawl up his spine. "Who are you talking about? Who's coming after us?" With a slow nod, Trump pulled out his phone and handed it to Elon, the screen flashing with encrypted messages, names, locations, dates. A network of corruptions traced back to governments, media moguls, and beyond. There were links to people Elon had trusted. "This is a list of those who want to silence us," Trump said, his voice steady. "They're ready to do whatever it takes." Just then, the unthinkable happened. The lights blared back to life, and a loud explosion echoed outside, followed by frantic screams. Elon dropped the phone, eyes wide. The security alarms shrieked. "That's them!" Trump shouted over the chaos, panic dawning on his face. "We have to move!" Elon grabbed the phone, heart racing, the reality of the situation crashing over him. Trusting Trump felt wrong, but time was slipping away. What do we do?" Trump grabbed his arm, pulling him toward a side door. "I have a safe place. We can figure this out. But first, we need to survive." As they dashed out, the unmistakable sound of gunfire rang out, shattering the air. Adrenaline surged through Elon's veins. In that moment, everything shifted. The fight he thought he was waging alone had turned into a battle for their lives. And the dark secrets that bound them both were just beginning to unravel. Who was truly on his side, and what other horrors lay hidden in the shadows? The storm was just starting, and Elon didn't know if he was ready to face it. Elon clenched his fists, the weight of his dreams colliding with the nightmare unfolding. The future was no longer just a vision. It was a battlefield. And somewhere Deep in the shadows, darker secrets waited to explode. His chest tightened as he scanned the dark room. Paranoia gnawed at him, each creak from the walls amplifying his anxiety. Should he trust her? The hacker, the ghost, who spoke of secrets that could change everything? Or was she just another player in this twisted game? The air stank of tension as his phone buzzed again. He flipped it open. There it was, a new message. Meet me, midnight, warehouse 7. No name, but the tone felt like a threat. A pull toward danger he couldn't ignore. His heart raced, a drum in his ears. This could be a trap, but what if it was the key? What if this meeting led him to the truth? He couldn't let fear hold him back. He moved through the moonlit streets, a shadow among shadows. As he approached the warehouse, doubt seeped in. The building loomed like a giant, half swathed in mist. Ah! Cold air bit at his skin. Inside, nothing but silence. Elon stepped through the door, heart thumping. The echo of his footsteps bounced off the walls. He felt eyes on him, a piercing stare that sent chills down his spine. "Hello?" he called, his voice shaky. Then a figure materialized from the darkness. "You came." Elon squinted. It was her, the hacker. But something was off. Her eyes flashed with a strange intensity. "You're in deeper than you know," she said, voice smooth, almost hypnotic. "The key you seek isn't just in the shadows. It's in the light, in the truth you've sealed away." "What do you mean?" Elon asked, confusion clouding his thoughts. The room felt like it was closing in. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed behind him. Elon whipped around, adrenaline surging. Shadows moved, and then there was a figure, a man, tall and imposing. Elon's gut twisted. He recognized him. The face was familiar. It belonged to someone he thought was an ally. "Donald?" Elon gasped. "What are you doing here?" But there was no recognition in Donald's eyes, just cold resolve. "You think you can expose us?" he sneered. "You have no idea what you're up against." Elon's breath hitched. He felt the walls constrict around him. "I don't understand. We were on the same side." "Not anymore," Donald said with a chilling smile. "The truth is more powerful than you think. And it's not what you expect." "Stop!" The hacker's voice sliced through the tension. "You don't understand the consequences." And then it happened. Could this change the world? Or was this the chaos he feared? Then, and somewhere in the darkness, the true enemy watched and waited. A question loomed in his mind, unanswered and terrifying. What truth was worth destroying everything for? Elon turned, sprinting into the night, heart racing. He felt the chaos behind him as he dashed down the darkened street. The hacker's words echoed in his mind in a frantic rhythm. Before it's too late. Was he running from the truth or toward it? He stumbled to a stop, panting, chest tightening. The device, the truth, it flickered in his thoughts. This wasn't just a tech discovery. It was power, the kind that could rewrite everything. He had to understand it, and quickly. But as he leaned against a cold brick wall, gasping for breath, a shadow loomed over him. He looked up to find the hacker, her face set with determination. "We need to go now! They'll be coming for us," she urged, eyes darting toward. This Donald looked different, more menacing, more controlled. "What have you done?" Donald's voice boomed, a twisted smile spreading across his face. "You shouldn't have come here, Elon." Before he could respond, a second figure appeared behind him, an older man with a sharp suit and a calm demeanor. Elon didn't recognize him, but there was something chilling about his presence. "You're in over your head," the man said smoothly. The hacker's grip tightened on Elon's arm, panic flickering in her eyes. "This isn't right. We need to go." But Elon felt a strange pull, like a magnet drawing him toward the conversation. "Who are you?" He spat at the man, but his voice felt weak, almost as if he already knew the answer. "I'm someone who has been watching," the man replied, voice low, deliberate. "Your work, what you've created, it's very important, but it's also a threat." "A threat?" Elon repeated, anger boiling within him. "To who?" "To the system, to those in control," the man said, glancing at Donald. "Controlling that kind of power is a delicate game, and you unwittingly stepped into it." Donald stepped forward, bringing a hand up to silence the man. "You see, Elon, the truth is not just out there in the shadows. It's wielded by those who know how to use it. And you've made some powerful enemies." "Is that why you're threatening me?" Elon shot back, feeling a flicker of defiance. "Because I've discovered the truth?" "Not just any truth," Donald smiled, now eerily calm. "Your truth aligns with ours, and that's the twist of fate." Suddenly, the ground shook, and a low rumble of thunder echoed around them. Elon stumbled, struggling to maintain balance as the shadows around him grotesquely shifted. The air crackled with electricity, sending a jolt through his body. "What's going on?" the hacker yelled, her voice barely reaching Elon over the chaos. Before he could answer, the sky split with a blinding flash. The ground erupted beneath them, and in that instant, everything around them became a whirl of chaos. Elon shielded his eyes, struggling to stay on his feet. All around him, the world seemed to fracture. When the light faded, he blinked against the haze looming over the street. But the shadows shifted again, revealing something even more shocking. The older man stood in front of him, but he was no longer just a man. His form flickered. In an instant, Elon realized the horrifying truth. He was looking at a clone. "What the hell?" Elon gasped, confusion flooding his senses. Was he surrounded by replicas? Did this mean the people they had trusted weren't who they seemed? Donald chuckled darkly, a predator sensing prey. "That's right. Welcome to the real game, Elon. This isn't just about tech. This is about control. And you, my friend, hold the key." Elon staggered back. The world tilted, and a deep question drowned him in fear. Who could he trust now, and what had he unleashed? The stakes had changed, and the real battle was just beginning. Elon gulped hard, heart pounding as he read that menacing message. Questions swirled in his mind, and the silence pressed down like a weight. Who was behind it? The shadows stretched around him, cold and suffocating. He couldn't shake the sense that he was in over his head. Suddenly, a flash of movement outside his window caught his eye. Just a blur. Was it paranoia or reality? But he felt it deep down, the familiar pang of dread clinging to every thought. Tentatively, he approached the glass. Outside, the night was still but charged. The world felt wrong, like an unfinished equation that was about to blow up in his face. Then came the sound, a soft tapping against the glass. He flinched and stepped back, heart racing. What was happening? He glanced at his phone. No new messages. The hacker? She promised to help him. But trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. He felt cornered, like prey in a trap. As if in answer to his turmoil, the door swung open. It was her, the hacker. But something was different. Her eyes shined with an intensity that held secrets and shadows. "Elon," she spoke, urgency thickening her voice. "We've got to move, now." "Why? What's happening?" His pulse was a drum against his ribs. "Trust me," she said, breathing hard. "They know we're onto them. I hacked into a secure server. They're planning something big, something terrifying, and we're in their crosshairs." "What do you mean?" Confusion twisted with fear. "Who are they?" "Trump's crew, the billionaires. They're connected in ways you would never believe." Her words tumbled out, urgency replacing hesitation. "But it's worse. I found something that changes everything. I thought they were just using the tech you developed, but no, they want it for more than just power." "What do you mean?" he breathed, hanging on her every syllable, a chill creeping up his spine. Before she could respond, the lights flickered. The room plunged into shadows. He reached for her, but she was already moving towards the door. "We need to go, now!" And then it happened. A blinding flash lit the room, followed by an ear-splitting explosion that shook the walls. Elon stumbled, hitting the ground hard. He quickly looked up, a cloud of dust, thick in the air, heart racing. When the dust cleared, the moment hung heavy. Her face, once fierce and determined, was gone. In her place, a flicker of movement appeared from the wreckage. Elon's breath hitched in his throat. Standing there, framed by the remnants of the door, was another figure. Familiar and shocking. "You didn't really think it was just the two of us, did you?" It was Donald Trump. A wave of nausea washed over Elon. All those frantic moments, the whispers, the warnings, every piece of the puzzle shattered in an instant. This was a setup, a trap he never saw coming. The world spun around him as he struggled to grasp what this meant. Was Trump the hacker's ally? Or had he been playing both sides all along? Elon felt the air thicken, an icy hand gripping his heart. Was everything a lie? Who could he trust now? The room fell silent again. But the tension was electric. Glaring at Trump, he forced out the words, "What do you want?" Trump's grin was cold, calculating. "Oh, we're just getting started, my friend. The real game has just begun." And just like that, Elon's battle had escalated. The stakes were higher and the shadows were darker than he ever imagined. Every secret seemed intertwined with a new terror. His world tilted, a fragile balance disrupted. What lay ahead? Would he fight back or fall into the abyss? The answers dangled just out of reach, pulling him closer to a fate he couldn't yet comprehend. Elon's heart skipped as he read the menacing message again. "You think you know the truth? You have no idea what's coming." The weight settled heavily in the pit of his stomach. He turned to the hacker, her face obscured by shadows. "What does this mean? Who sent it?" Before she could reply, the lights flickered. A distant rumble echoed in the hall. Not thunder. A low, insistent hum. Elon felt it in his bones. Something was wrong. really wrong. He glanced toward the door, instinct screaming at him to run. Then the world exploded. The ceiling above them shattered, glass and debris raining down. A blinding flash followed nearly instantly by a deafening boom. Chaos erupted. Screams bounced off the walls as people scrambled for cover. Elon dropped, shielding himself with his arms, adrenaline surging through his veins. The lights went out. Darkness enveloped him. ... Heart racing. Elon forced himself to look around. In the shadows, he caught a glimpse of figures moving swiftly. Who were they? Friends? Foes? My mind can't take this. He pulled himself up, unsteady on his feet. Panic buzzed like a wasp in his ears. "We need to go!" he shouted, adrenaline making his voice high. But just then, he felt a sharp jab in his side. Hot pain radiated outward. He looked down, horrified. A dart! He gasped, eyes wide, stumbling back. The hacker was now standing behind him, her face twisted in horror. "Elon, run!" But her words were slurring like a distant echo in his mind. The room spun. He fought against his own body, but exhaustion crept in like poison. He could feel himself sinking, boots dragging. Then a figure stepped into the frail light, silhouetted against the chaos. It was Donald Trump. Dressed impeccably, he scanned the destruction with an unsettling calm. "Well, well, if it isn't our tech savior," he boomed, voice dripping with sarcasm. The floor rumbled beneath Elon's feet. Was it fear? Or the building shaking? Before Elon could comprehend what was happening, Trump pointed a finger with a sly grin. "You've been meddling in matters far beyond your understanding, Musk. Now, watch what happens next." With that, the lights flickered back on. Everything seemed brighter, blinding. The hacker gasped, eyes wide as realization dawned. No, it can't be. Elon's heart sank as he followed her gaze. On a massive screen behind Trump, images flashed, classified documents, conversations, and a list of names that made his blood run icy. Billionaires, politicians, and there, at the top of the list, the hacker's name. Betrayal shot through him like a knife. "What is this?" he cried, stepping back as if the words could shield him from the truth. You're working with him?" The hacker's expression twisted, a mixture of fear and something else. Guilt? Elon could hardly breathe. The pieces shifted in his mind like a game he didn't understand. Who could he trust? The power in the room shifted ominously. Trump smiled, and it wasn't a smile of warmth. It was sinister, like a predator watching its prey. "You thought you were fighting for the truth, Elon, but maybe you were just a pawn in a much larger game." As the realization crashed over him, his world turned upside down. Could this be the key to the whole conspiracy? Or just the beginning of something darker? And with that, the lights flickered once more, plunging everyone back into panic. Elon's mind raced. What was real? What was a lie? And as he felt the walls closing in, he knew he had to make a choice, fast. The stakes were escalating, and everything was on the line. Elon's grip tightened around his phone, the message pulsing on the screen like a heartbeat of dread. "Ha! You think you know the truth? You have no idea what's coming. He felt a chill creep down his spine, prickling the skin on his arms. Sweat pooled under his collar, a cold reminder of the stakes that loomed overhead. As he sank deeper into the chaos, footsteps padded closer down the dim corridor, echoing in the stillness. This wasn't just paranoia. Something was about to break. Suddenly, the door burst open, slamming against the wall with a crack like thunder. The hacker stepped inside, her face ghostly pale, eyes wild like a hunted animal. "Elon!" she gasped, urgency spilling from her lips. "It's worse than we thought." "Wait, what do you mean?" he managed, heart racing, mind a swirl of confusion and fear. "They're not just after you." She took a shaky breath. "They've targeted the entire tech community. It's more than a conspiracy. It's a cleansing." Cleansing? The word hit him like a punch. "What are you talking about?" Shivers rippled through his stomach as she revealed the shocking truth. "They want to erase anyone who stands in their way, and they're using your technology to do it." "Wait, what?" Elon's brain struggled to catch up, every thought colliding like a traffic jam. "That can't be right. I designed this for progress." "Exactly!" She nodded vigorously. "They've twisted it. They've reprogrammed your AI to manipulate and control. Each upgrade you've released, it's a tool for them." A dull thud interrupted her, the sound of something heavy being dropped. Both their heads snapped toward the door. Someone else had arrived. Elon's heart raced as the figure stepped into the room. It was a familiar face, one who shouldn't be here at all. "Donald?" he whispered, dread creeping into his voice. "What are you doing here?" The former president stepped forward, an unsettling smirk plastered on his face. "Looks like the cat's out of the bag, doesn't it, Elon?" He leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, projecting a calm that did not match the tension in the air. "What the hell are you talking about?" Elon felt rage bubble inside him, a fire that burned hotter than fear. "You're behind this?" "Oh, don't be foolish." Donald smiled, but his eyes were cold. "This isn't just my doing. It's bigger, much bigger." He paused, letting the words sink in. "You've been played, Elon. All your work is merely a means to our end. You wanted to build a better world? We wanted control." A sudden realization hit, like a punch to the gut. Everything he had trusted, every late-night coding session, every hope for the future, it was all a facade, a game played by someone else. The world he envisioned shattered like glass. The hacker's breath quickened. "You're in this too deep, Elon. They don't just want to control technology. They want to control you." Panic surged as Elon's mind raced through possibilities. "So there's no escape?" Donald's smirk widened. "Not for you. Not for anyone you care about. Every ally you thought you had could very well be an enemy." He stepped closer, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "And we haven't even scratched the surface yet." Elon felt bile rising in his throat. The message on his phone blazed sharp in his memory. "What's coming?" he whispered, heart hammering. Donald leaned in, his voice like ice slicing through the heat of the moment. "You'll find out soon enough. And when you do, everything you believed will come crashing down." Elon looked at the hacker, her face stricken with fear. Who was real? Who was lying? And now, over his head loomed a threat that could alter everything, leaving devastation in its wake. Silence blanketed the room, heavy like a winter's night. And at that moment, he knew the battle lines had shifted. But where would he stand when the truth revealed itself? Elon felt the weight of Donald's words crashing over him like a tidal wave. The reality of his situation twisted sharply in his gut. You'll find out soon enough. And when you do, everything you believed will come crashing down. Dread wrapped around his heart. The hacker stood frozen beside him, her eyes wide with fear, the same realization dawning on her. What does that mean? Elon managed, desperation clawing at his voice. She could feel the walls closing in, secrets suffocating him, shadows shifting all around them. But just then, a loud crash thundered from outside the building. The ground quaked beneath them, rattling loose papers on the desk and sending a shiver down Elon's spine. "What's happening?" he yelled, trying to drown out the chaos. The hacker was already moving, urgency igniting her features. "We have to get out of here!" Elon turned to Donald, but he was still grinning, eyes gleaming with something ominous, almost delighted. "Oh, it's just the show starting," Donald said, unfazed. "We've reached a turning point, Musk." Before Elon could react, a blinding light flooded the room, erupting from the doorway like an angry star. Suddenly, the light flickered, then exploded in a shower of sparks, sending the trio sprawling backward. Elon caught himself against the wall, pain shooting through his shoulder. When he opened his eyes, smoke hung thick in the air, swirling around in a ghostly dance. And amidst the chaos, he spotted a figure stepping into the room, framed by the firelight. It was another clone, a mirror of Donald. But there was something distinctly different about this one. As the dust settled, Elon realized the truth. This clone bore a scar across its face, a jagged line that twisted ominously down its cheek. "What the?" Elon gasped, stunned. "Surprise!" The original Donald chuckled, watching with glee. "Meet my brother, the traitor. He's just been decommissioned from our little family business for getting too close to you." The brother's eyes burned with fury, and the air crackled with tension. "You think you can keep this all to yourself, brother? I won't let you destroy everything we've built." At that moment, everything shifted. The clone lunged forward, tackling Donald. The fight erupted, clones, shadows, sparks, and chaos filling the room. Elon and the hacker watched in horror as their world exploded into a feral struggle. "What is happening?" the hacker screamed, eyes wide with disbelief. The original Donald wrestled to regain control, but the brother had become a whirlwind of rage. "You think you can bury the truth? I am the truth!" Elon felt a sudden surge of insight, a feeling that twisted his stomach. Whatever was happening was bigger than he imagined. This was no ordinary battle. Plates fell from shelves, and the lights flickered again, plunging the room into darkness for a flicker of a second. When the lights returned, everything was different. The hacker, wide-eyed, turned to Elon, What if this isn't just about your tech? What if it's about control over everything? They want to manipulate the truth, not just for themselves, but for the entire world. At that moment, a loud explosion ripped through the building, the sound deafening, echoing like a sinister laughter. A ceiling panel fell, crashing down inches away from them. "Run!" Elon yelled, adrenaline surging through his veins. They bolted for the exit, but as they dashed past the brawl, something deeper struck him. The truth was unraveling, layer by layer. The clones were part of something vast and insidious. As they sprinted into the night, the shadows seemed to whisper secrets. And the last words Elon heard from the original Donald echoed hauntingly behind them. "You haven't seen the last of us. The game is just beginning." In that chilling moment, Elon grasped what it meant. This was a war, a fight for more than just survival. It was a confrontation with the very essence of reality itself, and he had no idea what depths they would plunge into next. Elon sprinted away into the night, heart racing, the hacker's urgency echoing in his mind. But darkness wrapped around them like a thick curtain. But their instincts pushed them forward. Heartbeats pounded in their ears, a rhythm of dread and desperation. "Where do we go?" Elon shouted, adrenaline surging as they skidded around a corner. The neon lights of the city ahead blurred into streaks of color. "Anywhere but here," she replied, glancing back over her shoulder. The urgency in her voice fueled his resolve. They rushed down an alley, breathing hard, skin prickling with fear. Shadows loomed, whispering threats that made the hairs on the back of Elon's neck stand up. Then it happened. An explosion rocked the street. The ground shook violently beneath them, sending them tumbling to the pavement. Dust filled the air, choking him. Elon coughed, trying to push through the haze. When the world cleared, he saw her on the ground beside him, her eyes wide with shock. "Are you okay?" he asked, reaching for her, but the doubt pooled in its gut. Something wasn't right. Before she could answer, a third figure appeared, emerging from the chaos, a tall silhouette framed by a flickering streetlight. "Even more real." And then a flicker of light shone on his skin, revealing seams, hints of machinery beneath flesh. Elon's breath caught in his throat. The man in front of him was not human. "You're a clone?" "Part of the system," he replied, his voice steady and mechanical. "I was created from the codes you generated, a breakthrough no one expected." He gestured around them. "I didn't just rise to power. I was engineered to take it. This is the future, Elon. You unleashed it." The hacker shook her head, horror written across her face. "You were playing us from the start." "Yes." Donald, the clone, stepped back into the light. "And now you are entangled in a web. You can't escape." His eyes glowed faintly, a stark reminder of what had been hidden inside. Elon felt the reality warp around him, like a funhouse mirror, distorting the truth. How could he have been so blind? But why? What are you getting from all this? Control, power, and your technology? Donald leaned in, a sinister vision behind those glowing eyes. "It will reshape the world as we know it. You are nothing but a source of energy in a game much larger than you." Panic took hold of Elon, Everything felt like a nightmare, spinning out of control. They've been hiding this from us. The hacker's voice cracked, fighting against the rising sense of urgency. We have to warn others. We can stop this. Donald laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the dark streets. Stop? You're missing the point. You are the point. And now there's no escape. With a flick of his wrist, a small device ignited in his palm, glimmering ominously. The world crashed around them again. A siren blared, the air filled with warning. The hacker pushed Elon back, fear blazing in her eyes. We need to run! But it was too late. The device exploded, and a shockwave sent them hurtling through the air. When the dust settled, Elon blinked, disoriented. The scene around him had changed. A stark, blinding light poured in from what seemed to be a portal, and figures emerged, tall, shadowy forms that didn't belong to this world. Welcome, a voice called, smooth like silk but edged with authority. You've arrived at the crossroads of existence. Elon's jaw dropped. Everything he thought he knew shattered. This was bigger than the conspiracy, larger than tech. This was a war with dimensions beyond comprehension, with forces at play that could unravel the threads of reality itself. Who are you? He stammered, heart racing, confusion reeling in his mind. You're true creators, they replied, stepping closer, revealing faces that mirrored his own. We've been waiting for you. The implications settled like stones in his stomach, anchoring him in truth that twisted his core. What had he unleashed, and what horrors awaited as the line between friend and foe blurred in ways he couldn't yet fathom? Elon stood frozen, surrounded by the chaos, trying to process what was happening. The glowing figures stepped closer, revealing sleek, shining exteriors, the clones of Donald. But there was more to their presence than just duplicates. They were the culmination of his nightmares, a reality twisted by ambition and technology. You think you're special? One of the clones sneered. You're just a piece in our game. The words cut through the noise, sharp and cruel. Elon felt a wave of anger surge through him. No more, he shouted, his voice breaking through the madness. I won't let you play with lives like this. The air crackled with tension as the hacker stood beside him, determination igniting her eyes. We'll expose you. We'll tear this all down. The clone laughed, cold and unrelenting. Try if you dare, but know this. You've opened a door and you can't close it now. Elon's heart raced. This was his moment. If he could find the truth hidden within that chaos, maybe he could turn it against them. Then let's bring it to the light. The room erupted again. You think this is just about you or your tech? This is about power, controlling the world. Donald's clone stepped closer, a glint in his eye that suggested he had a plan already in motion. Elon fought against the desperate fear tightening in his chest. We won't let you dictate reality. Their words hung in the air, a fierce declaration against the darkness. As the chaos around them intensified, the lights flickered, illuminating faces filled with shock and fear. Bystanders watched, wide-eyed, a social wave of horror washing over them. Elon glanced at the hacker, their shared resolve shimmering despite the dread. We can't give in, she gasped, urgency spilling from her words. Let's use your tech, your truth. We can turn it against them. Suddenly, a bright burst of fire shot across the room. and everything ignited. Screams pierced through the air as the darkness encroached like a living thing. It was a shockwave of panic. Chaos erupting. Without thinking, Elon grabbed the hacker's hand. They dashed forward, weaving between chaos and terror, hearts racing as they pushed through shadows. "Over there!" Elon shouted, pointing to an emergency exit lighting up the wall like a beacon. They raced toward it, the pounding of their hearts matching the urgency of their escape. As they broke free into the outside world, oxygen flooded their lungs like a balm. But they weren't out of the woods yet. The night was still cloaked in danger. Behind them, the building shook with energy, the clones still hell-bent on capturing their truth. Panting, they turned down an alley, adrenaline coursing through their veins. "What now?" the hacker asked, breathless. Elon looked around, determination hardening inside him. "We've got to rally the others, the tech community, anyone who can help us expose this." Just then, blurry figures appeared at the end of the street, silhouetted against the night. Familiar faces began to emerge. Friends, allies, tech geniuses who had believed in Elon's vision. "Are you okay?" a voice called out. It was his friend, her eyes filled with concern. "There's no time," he yelled, urgency gripping him. "We need to unite and fight back." As they gathered momentum, a realization struck Elon. This wasn't just his battle, it was theirs. Each face mirrored the stakes, their futures intertwined, hearts beating as one. Together, they would face the clones, the lies, the darkness that twisted their world. With a clenched fist, he declared, "We will rewrite the future." As he rallied them, a distant roar boomed again. The clones weren't far behind, but for the first time, Elon felt a spark of hope ignite in his chest. They weren't just running, they were standing their ground. And as the forces converged, a fierce resolve burned within him. This was the moment the tide would turn. The fight, could they really change their fate? His heart raced with uncertainty, but he wouldn't turn back. This was the beginning of a new journey. They would push through the darkness or be consumed by it. Now, when the dust settled, would there be a light left to find? So, what are you waiting for? You have to subscribe now. You will want to miss these insane stories as they unfold. Smash that like button right now to help us beat the algorithm. And I want you to flood the comments with your thoughts and theories about this wild ending. Let's hear what you think. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to be on this journey with us. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait another second to act.